Well, Art of the Troubles has stemmed primarily from a collaboration between ourselves and Wolverhampton Art Gallery, and it's driven very much by the collections of both organisations. It brings together the work of around 50 artists who responded to the Troubles from the earliest times, and indeed right up to the present day, because we're still exploring the legacy of the Troubles and artists are exploring that legacy.
The exhibition has over 60 artworks by 50 artists, such as Joe McWilliams and Jack Pakenham. We have some very early work that was created by artists that didn't live in Northern Ireland, such as Michael Farrell and Robert Balla. But there's also artists that people would be familiar with, including people like Gladys McCabe, T.P. Flanagan and Louis Le Brocquet. This exhibition really started to be planned with Wolverhampton Art Gallery, who have a fabulous collection of artworks that relate to the Troubles in Northern Ireland. And we started talking to them even before the Ulster Museum reopened.
So we started collecting work about the Troubles in the early 1990s, and we made purchases by artists like Willie Doherty and Paul Graham. And I suppose we quite quickly realised that there weren't a lot of other museums collecting in that area, so it was quite a unique collection. And since then we've been quite successful getting external funding to develop those collections further.
The Troubles for many people is history, particularly younger people, but also we're very conscious that for many people Trouble is memory, and lived memory, and sometimes very painful memory. And we feel that the treatment of the Troubles and Troubles related themes by artists, and these are very unique perspectives from artists, offers a different way into that actually difficult territory.
This is a piece called Veil, and it's made from 6 doors that came from Armagh Women's Prison. You peer in through the eye holes that the prison warders would have used, and you see a collection of glass teardrops. I think art is a very important way of moving us forward. Without leadership, without politics, of a kind of a functioning, delivering way, maybe art has some part to play right now in Ulster society to move us a little further towards the future.
I think the society hasn't been able, in terms of its own positioning, to find a position on this. There's no national monument to the Troubles. It's not agreed. And in a sense, I think that this exhibition and what it represents is a work in progress too.
I wanted not just to depict the Troubles, but in some way to convey what I felt about them, or to comment or to condemn. I suppose someday these works will be up there to sort of remind people of a terrible time that we lived through, to maybe prick consciences.
We really wanted the artists to interpret the works in the exhibition, and we will have an ongoing, growing online presence for the artists and films of them talking about their work. Because obviously we couldn't have every artist that responded to the Troubles, we're also going to develop that online presence for a future archive and a legacy for the actual exhibition.
I'm not from Belfast. I wouldn't pretend to understand all the complexities of, what happened during the Troubles, but I hope it gives another perspective, and I think, the artists can give another perspective on political situations. They're often able to comment in a much more objective way, and I think people can come to the exhibition really and look at the work, and they're going to bring their own personal histories to that viewing and interpret what that means to them.
Many of these works have already been on display in many different venues, both within Northern Ireland and elsewhere. But the combination, I think, results in the sum being greater than the sum of the individual parts. Taken in the round, but they reflect many of the themes that resonated through the Troubles.